The Philadelphia Eagles just won the Super Bowl. Where have I heard that before? Oh, yeah. I said that back in August for the first time, and then in September and October and November and December and January, and they just won the Super Bowl. In fact, they won it more impressively than even I thought they would win it. I actually thought it would be a pretty close game. And the Philadelphia Eagles just annihilated and humiliated the three-peats. The Kansas City Chiefs, who had won back-to-back Super Bowls, going for the unprecedented 3 in a row. The final score was 40-22, but it wasn't nearly that close. It was 24-0 at halftime. It was 34-0 near the end of the third quarter. Patrick Mahomes had the all-time garbage time fourth quarter to make it look misleadingly respectable. It wasn't nearly as close as 40-22, but Patrick threw for 109 garbage yards against a lot of Eagles backups in the fourth quarter. I watched what Howie Roseman did through the offseason. He didn't just win the offseason. He dominated it the way no GM has ever dominated the offseason. I'm a lifelong, diehard Dallas Cowboy fan, though it's getting harder and harder. And I watched and heard Jerry Jones say, "I'm all in." And he was all out. He did next to nothing. While I watched his arch rival within the division, Howie freaking Roseman, win MVP of the offseason. Sort of the unsung MVP of this Super Bowl. Howie Roseman won free agency, starting with Saquon and Zach Bond and C.J. Gardner-Johnson. I can go on and on. Howie Roseman won the draft. He got the 2 best corners in the draft, and they started for him and changed life on defense for him. LeBron, you got to wise up. You got to figure out who Cooper DeJean is. Kid can play. He picked 6 Mahomes. It was really the dagger in the Super Bowl. It was this white kid from Iowa, early second-round pick. He picked 6 Mahomes in the Super Bowl, and you disrespected him the other night. LeBron, Lakers at Sixers, you go dap up 4 or 5 of the Eagles sitting in the front row, and the 6th guy is the white guy, and you think he's just some yes man along for the ride, some entourage member. It's Cooper freaking DeJean. LeBron, you dissed him. You ignored him. You walked away from him. You left him hanging. And he left Mahomes hanging. Those 2 kids, him and Quinyon, they made such a difference in the way the back end of this defense plays because they shut people down. Howie Roseman goes out and he gets Vic Fangio to coach this defense. I've been afraid of Vic Fangio. He's always had the Cowboys number. Now he's got the magic number in Philadelphia. He was perfect just with that defense, what the doctor ordered for it. And Kellen Moore, I know him well. I know who he is, who he isn't, but I know what he can do for an offense. He doesn't have a commanding personality. I don't think he's a head coach. Good luck to you, Saints, with Kellen Moore. But he'd be better than what we have right now. Shoddy. Shoddy? Put an I in the middle of that? I don't know. Shoddy? We got Shoddy? We're all out? They've got Howie Roseman, and we got scary Jerry Jones. Are you kidding me? The Eagles just won the Super Bowl, Jerry. You should be horrified. They're in our division. They're going to dominate our division for years to come. What did I say the day Jalen Hurts was drafted in the second round by Howie Roseman? What did I say? I tweeted immediately. This is during the pandemic. Jalen Hurts will change life in Philadelphia. He has now outplayed Patrick Mahomes in 2 Super Bowls. He lost the first one because he made one uncharacteristic, unforced error in the second quarter. They're driving to make it 21-7. He just lost the handle, and Nick Bolton got a magic lucky hop, one hop with the oblong ball right up to Nick Bolton, and he housed it, and it was 14-all. And the Eagles felt like they were playing uphill the rest of the game, and they lost 38-35. And I said, they're just better than that team. You could just see it all year long. The Eagles had the best defense in pro football, and it wasn't really close. Second by a mile was Kansas City. The Eagles had the best offensive line in pro football. They had one of the best receiving corps in pro football. And they had a quarterback who's not a great thrower of the football. There's a little Tebow going on, just a little. But Jalen Hurts just makes big plays in big games. Did he throw some sweet balls today? And the irony of this whole discussion is the Eagles got off to a horrible start because 11:51 left in the game. It's 0-0. They face 4th and 2 at the 50-yard line, and they go for it. And what a sweet throw Jalen made against the blitz to A.J. Brown for a first down. And I said, whew, here we go, baby. Fly, Eagles, fly. And they call offensive pass interference because A.J. Brown just reaches back and touches sort of the face mask and whatever, just touched his face mask. They're kind of hand fighting. It was a horrible call. It was a non-call. If you wanted to call hands to the face, maybe it's still ticky-tack. But it was horrible. Everybody knew it was horrible. And it cost them, 1st and 10 down at the, 30, 25. Field goal for sure, maybe touchdown, maybe early lead, definitely early lead of some sort. Man, was Jake Elliott on fire today? Every kick he kicked, and he had to kick 3 a second time off penalties. But every kick he kicked, except for the one that barely made it in the right upright, but he was just booming balls. Right down Bourbon Street, baby. But that cost him, and then it didn't matter. It was 24-0 at half, and look at what they did. Look what the Eagles did to the Chiefs, the three-peats in the first half. 13 first downs to 1 for the Chiefs in the first half. The Chiefs went 0 for 6 on 3rd down in the first half because Mahomes missed Kelsey twice with shockingly awful low and away throws, just off-target throws. It was 20 to 10 minutes in time of possession, 20 minutes to 10 time of possession. Patrick Mahomes had 20 yards passing at halftime. 20 yards. Philly had 117. Patrick Mahomes had already been sacked 3 times in the first half. And please, I don't want to hear this narrative. Oh, the Chiefs cost him. The Chiefs GM let him down. The Chiefs management let him down. They can't protect Patrick Mahomes. He looked lost. He looked overwhelmed. He looked deer in headlights, did Patrick Mahomes, through 3 quarters. Just looked overwhelmed. Just looked shaky, unsure, wide-eyed. Oh my God, I'm going down again. The Eagles don't have a great pass rush. They don't. It helped to have Brandon Graham back today. I thought he made some things happen. I picked Jalen Carter to win Super Bowl MVP because I thought he had some monster games leading this one, and he had a non-game today. He did next to nothing today. Sweat was making him sweat coming off the edge, and then everybody got in the act. The Eagles' defense is just hellacious good. It's a bunch of badass ballers, but it starts with those 2 kids. Trust me, Quinyon and Cooper DeJean made it because they can cover. The Eagles the last 2 years haven't been able to cover. When they collapsed down the stretch last year, Jalen and AJ got into it, and they were having all kinds of personal issues. But remember, they went 10-1 and then lost 6 of their last 7, including the playoff game at Tampa. They couldn't cover anybody. They couldn't stop anybody. Fangio, Quinion, Cooper DeJean, Zach Bond, my guy Burks from Vanderbilt. All these guys helped. Nolan Smith, C.J. Gardner-Johnson. He's just, everywhere he goes, they win. He just makes plays. He was a sweet re-pickup by Howie Roseman. What a tour de force the Eagles gave you today. What a spectacular exclamation point they put on the season. And what a pathetic Super Bowl Patrick Mahomes played. He threw 2 first-half interceptions, and then he got stripped in the third quarter, strip sacked. So he threw a pick 6 to Cooper DeJean, and he gave the ball away twice in his own territory to give Philly easy points. Twice. That's 3 turnovers. I predicted it to be 2-1. Kansas City would have 2 to the Eagles 1. 3-1. Patrick Mahomes was the lowercase go to the game, as in the guy you should blame for the loss. He was pathetic in the first half. He was actually pathetic through 3 quarters. And then I thought Philly just took its foot off the gas way too early and started celebrating on its sideline, putting in backups through the fourth quarter. And Patrick Mahomes' all-time garbage yards it in the fourth quarter with 109. Second half, he put up decent numbers. They wound up with 226 yards passing, total to 210 for the Eagles. And it looks bad because it's so misleading. This was an all-time butt kick. This was an all-time romp and stomp. This was an all-time embarrassment for a team that had won back-to-back Super Bowls. The Chiefs and Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes. And thank you, Fox. Did they ever show her up in the box today? I was dreading it so much. Did they have it planned? Did they have it plotted? Did Kelsey have a ring stashed down in his pants, back pocket, so that he could propose to her as the confetti fell? Well, it fell on Kansas City's heads because it fell for the Eagles. This whole year was about fly, Eagles, fly. This whole year was about why, Jerry, why? You did next to nothing, and Howie Roseman ran Super Bowl rings around you and around the entire National Football League. And now we in Dallas have to deal with the Eagles and Jalen Hurts. He's a young man. He's just getting started. What a backbone he has. What football character he has. He's the Super Bowl MVP in large part because what a game he had running the football, especially in the third quarter. He broke away twice. He had 11 for 72. So I predicted this was going to be low scoring because I said from the start, Kansas City will shut down Saquon. He can't bang away at that defense. He still doesn't run with authority between the tackles, and they are so stout up front, starting with Chris Jones. And Saquon went nowhere slowly today. Saquon wound up going 25 times for 57 yards. That's barely over 2 yards a carry. What was his long run? 8 yards? He did next to nothing. In fact, Jalen Hurts had a sensational game undoing what Saquon kept doing to Philly, because on either first or second down or both, he'd make it third and long because he was going nowhere slowly. And Jalen Hurts kept converting big third downs with big completions. What a playmaker he is. What a big game, big play playmaker Jalen Hurts is. He's going to be a pain in our asses for a long time. Jaden Daniels is going to be a bigger pain in our asses for an even longer time. And now I'm starting to get that queasy feeling that Shedeur Sanders is going to wind up in New York with the Giants in our division, and we're going to have to deal with him twice, and Jaden twice, and Jalen twice, and we're stuck with Dak and stuck with Scary Jerry. I'm very happy for the Eagles. I'm happy for me because I saw them coming way before anybody else did. That's a football team. Nick Sirianni really impressed me. He's a God guy. I like what he's made of. He can be a little goofy, but he won me over. He said and did all the right things at the right moments to keep that team heading north. They're going to lose Kellen Moore, I assume. But so what? They'll figure that one out. They're going to be a problem. The Commanders are going to be a problem. The New York Football Giants are going to go back to being a big problem for my Dallas Cowboys. We're going on 30 years since we even made it back to an NFC championship game. And I had to sit tonight and try to love an Eagles team that I grew up hating. I hated the Philadelphia Eagles. I hated their vomity green jerseys. I hate that shade of green. I don't get it. I can't stand it. I can't swallow it. But I saw him coming. Jalen Hurts is a leader. Nick Sirianni's a real live leader of a head coach. The Eagles had two big-time coordinators. The right guy, right place, right time for each of those units. The Eagles have a toughness and a resilience that we lost a long time ago in Dallas. So I'm very happy for the city of Philadelphia. I'm very happy for the Fly Eagles Fly. It was Go Green. It was Mighty Green Machine. It was all Eagles all the time, and I loved how much they put the Chiefs back in their places, stomped on their growing pride, their spillover pride, shut up the Swifties, cry Taylor cry. I predicted this was going to happen. They got even tonight with Kansas City for what happened in Glendale 2 years ago. Way to go, Eagles. And condolences, Cowboy Nation.